Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, that is Mechanical Engineering Make Easy. This is Akash Masir here and we are moving with GATE syllabus, and this is the 13th lecture of manufacturing. I have designed the separate playlist for all separate subjects. So if you want to watch all the videos, go to my channel. I have designed all the lectures. Otherwise you can go to I button. On I buttons also I have given some playlist there. Okay, so you can watch that also. So today's lecture we are moving with arc welding, and today we will see some arc welding concepts, and after that some types like TIG, MIG and etc. Okay, so let's begin. First topic is duty cycle. What is duty cycle? Duty cycle is nothing but arc on time upon total welding time. Okay, this is denoted by AOT, arc on time, that is AOT divided by total welding time. And what is total welding time? Total welding time is arc on time plus rest. Okay, means what happens? Means we are generating the welding joint. For example, this is the plate. Okay, and here the welding joint is going to generate from up to this point. Okay, we have started from this, but before starting we will have some we will pass some time for adjustment and etc. Then after joint also we have to rest for some time, like we have to replace the workpiece. We have to take this workpiece and outside and take another workpiece likewise, so that time we have to entertain in case of rest. That's why the duty cycle means taking one arc on time upon total welding time. Okay, then we will look some basic parameters. For that I am drawing one figure here. Okay, this is the plate and we have to join it here. Okay, means these are two plates. Firstly consider, this is plate 1, this is plate 2, and here we have to join that plate. So what is the case for that? Okay, this joint will look like, okay, so what are the number of parameters we have to take into consideration? First is nothing but the root gap. This is nothing but the root gap. Okay, it is too much important because if this root gap is increased or decreased, ultimately our welding strength will vary. Okay, so that's why this root gap is too much important, and that should be in 3 to 5 mm, 3 to 4 mm. That should be in between 3 to 4 mm only. Okay, not more than that and not less than that. Then we have this parameter, that is land. Okay, land means how much height that root gap have. Okay, that is nothing but the land, and that parameter should be less than or equal to 5 mm. Okay, that height should not be too much higher above than 5 mm. That should be limited up to 5 mm only, irrespective of the thickness of plate. Okay, because what will happen, if this height will increase, then ultimately there may be chances that the welding will not happen up to the bottom. Okay, that's why that height and root gap are too much important parameters. And if we are going to increase root gap for proper welding or etc., then ultimately the joint strength will decrease. Okay, so these are some parameters. Then this I have shown some curved line. This denotes the crowning. Crowning means some extra material will be there which will provide some round shape. Okay, that is nothing but the crowning, and crowning should be 10 to 15% of weld volume of weld bead. Okay, volume of weld bead. 10 to 15 means this is total weld bead, okay, and 10 to percent of that volume of weld bead should be the crowning, means that is the proper identical crowning, okay. And why the crowning is provided, that have to give the strength and etc, okay. So that's why the crowning is important parameter. Then number of passes, okay, here may be likewise number of passes may be there, and that number of passes should be minimum as possible, okay, because as number of passes will increase, the joint will have number of layers, and as that layers, if that layers will have any gap and etc, that will cause ultimately the strength. That's why the number of passes should be as minimum as possible, okay. These are some parameters which I wanted to show you in figure. Then we will look towards another parameters of arc welding. What are they? First is number of electrodes required. Means we have to join any plate. For example, what I have shown to you, that how much number of electrodes will be required to form proper joint. That will depend on volume of one electrode and volume of the that welding we needed, okay. So what is that number of electrodes required, which is equal to total volume of weld bead, total volume of weld bead means volume of that gap and crowning etc, total volume, okay, divided by volume of one electrode, okay, volume per electrode or volume of one electrode, volume of one electrode, and that volume of one electrode will be pi by 4 d square. This is cross sectional area into Le, that is nothing but effective length. And what is effective length? Okay, the electrode is there, and that electrode will have here some for gripping into the holder, some part will be rest here, that part will not be used. So this is total length, this is capital L, and the length which is useful, that is nothing but Le, that is effective length, okay. This is holder. Holder is used for holding the electrode, and some part of electrode is not, we can't use that amount of volume while welding, that is only for gripping and etc. So that's why this is total length and this is the effective length we have to take into consideration to the volume of one electrode. This is diameter of electrode, this is effective length of electrode, okay. So note down this also. If you have any confusion, then let me know in comment, and if you have any suggestion, you want any specific video, then also you can comment me so that I will make video on that topic. So now we will move towards, yes, and that total volume what I have shown you, that number of electrodes required, total volume upon volume per electrode. So that total volume will include the volume of weld bead, okay, plus crowning plus spatter. Spatter is one kind of loss in case of arc weldings. What is the spatter? That some spherical droplets or etc will be thrown outside to the welding, okay, and that is metal, so that metal is lost there. So that we have to do consider while number of electrodes required parameter. Now we will move towards TIG, that is tungsten inert gas welding. What is that? The electrode used will be of tungsten, okay. This electrode will be of tungsten, and as electrode is tungsten, so this is non-consumable electrode, so we have to use one separate filler material, okay. This is the workpiece. Workpiece will be given positive supply, electrode will be given negative supply. This is universal for every arc welding. Negative supply will be given to electrode and positive supply will be given to workpiece. And if the material the rod is consumable, then we will not need any kind of filler material extra. But if electrode is not the consumable, then we have to use extra filler material. And in some cases, if electrode is non-consumable, then also we don't have to use any extra filler material. That will depend on what kind of welding we are doing. Okay, but probably 99% I will say we have to use the filler material. Okay, so note down these all points. So in case of TIG, the arc is visible. What's the arc is formed here? That arc is visible as we are not using any shielding gas or etc. That's why that arc is visible to the operator. That's why as arc is visible, the operator can see the arc developed and operator can watch all the process. So the joint will be proper. Then next is argon gas is used. Okay, as this is tungsten inert gas welding, we are not using any shielding gas, but the argon gas will be used uh, for proper, means there should not be any impurity or etc. That's why the argon gas is used. And argon gas, as it is inert gas, so it will not react with any material or workpiece or tungsten etc. So that's why that argon gas is used there. Okay, then no flux is used. What is the purpose of flux? Again, to provide the shielding, the flux is used. The flux will be converted into slag after welding. Okay, so we are not using flux here, so that is one of the another advantage. Then no slag, as as we are not using flux, so slag will not form, and ultimately if slag forms, then we need to do post cleaning after welding process. So ultimately we don't need to have the process that is post cleaning. So this is also advantage of TIG. Then the filler material is required. So this is, we can say, one of the disadvantage also we can say. So this is all about TIG. If you have any doubt, then comment me. We will move towards another type of welding, that is metal inert gas welding. Metal inert gas welding, in case of MIG, same as compared same of TIG, only one difference, that is nothing but here filler material will not be required, and this okay, means what is here, the electrode is used of metal wire electrode, and this is continuously supplied from this roller. Okay, this is supply roller which will supply this metal wire continuously to the welding process. So ultimately the extra filler material will not be required. And this is workpiece. The arc is visible in this case also, as we are not using any shielding gas or flux etc. So arc is visible here also. Then as compared to tungsten inert gas welding, the cost is less. Why? Because in that case we was using tungsten, and as you also know, tungsten is too much costly material, and as that material is too much costly, ultimately the cost of welding is increased. Okay, that's why if we are using metal inert gas welding, that will be cost effective as compared to tungsten inert gas welding. Then the electrode diameter, this electrode diameter will be less than or equal to 4 mm. Okay, these are some kind of specifications. If that are not going to satisfy, then that will ultimately affect the welding process and the strength of joint. Okay, so that's why we have to follow these some specifications. The electrode wire diameter will be less than or equal to 4 mm. Then next is the spatter losses are too much high here, as we are using directly the metal wire here, and we are not using any shielding gas or flux etc. That's why what happens, the spatter wear increases, as here the gap will be and the heat will be generated. Ultimately what happens, the melted material will be thrown outside in the form of spears, small droplets. Okay, and that is nothing but the spatter, and that spatter loss is higher in case of metal inert gas welding. Okay, then the maximum thickness of workpiece that we can, okay, maximum thickness of workpiece that we can weld, that is nothing but within single pass. Okay, maximum thickness of workpiece we can weld within single pass, that will be equal to 30 mm. Okay, means the maximum of plate thickness having 30 mm we can weld within one single pass only. This is very big advantage of metal inert gas welding. Up to 30 mm means 3 cm thick of plate we can weld within one pass only. Okay, then we will move towards next, and that is nothing but the gap between electrode and workpiece will be 2 to 3 mm. Here will be some gap. Okay, and that gap will be 2 to 3 mm. So this is also important parameter, and what the values I am telling in while delivering lecture, that you should note down, because these values are too much important. That's why I have taken into discussion. Okay, so the gap between electrode and workpiece will be 2 to 3 mm. These are some points about the metal inert gas welding, and now we will move towards our today's bonus points. Bonus points are also too much, because today we have covered two very important types of welding, that is tungsten inert gas welding and metal inert gas welding. So bonus points, what are they? First, we will look the tungsten inert gas welding applications. Okay, TIG, where we have to use TIG, tungsten inert gas welding. We can use the TIG on sheet metal and thinner sections. Okay, sheet metal means sheet metal and thinner section. Okay, if there is thinner sections like sheet metal, like the thickness will be 2 3 mm 5 mm etc., on that case, in that case we can use the TIG. Then next application is aircraft, chemical and instrumental industries. Like in case of aircraft, there is number of work of sheet metal also, so there we can use the TIG. Okay, then next is nothing but chemical. Then next is instrumental industries. Instruments like guitar, tabla etc etc. In that instrumental industries also too much complex shapes and sheet metal type shapes are there, so in that case we use a TIG, tungsten inert gas welding. Then next is aluminum, magnesium, copper, nickel, and alloys of these metals and alloy of stainless steels etc. Copper, aluminum, magnesium etc., then steels and alloys of these all metals we can use TIG there. Okay, TIG we can use in aluminum, copper, magnesium etc., and steels and their alloys also. So we will move towards next, and that is nothing but MIG applications, that is metal inert gas welding application. What are they? Tool steels and dies. Okay, you can imagine here we was using thin sections word. Okay, and here we have directly moved towards tool and die steel. So you can imagine, and why this difference is because MIG can join up to 30 mm thick within single pass only. This is too much great advantage of MIG, and that's why we can use it for tool and die steels also. Then in some refrigerator parts, then aircraft, automobile, pressure vessels and shipbuilding, the pressure vessels are too much important and very critical application of welding, because if very small leakage is there or very small porosity and etc defects will be there, then ultimately that pressure vessel will going to explode. Okay, so in that case also we can use MIG, that is metal inert gas welding. Then welding of carbon, silicon, then low alloy steel, stainless steel, aluminum, magnesium, copper, nickel and their alloys, means number of too much vast application of MIG is there. Nearly all materials we can use MIG. Okay, only one limitation of arc welding that I have told you, that is nothing but only conducting materials we can use, and metals are, number of metals are conducting, so there we can use metal inert gas welding. Okay, then shielded metal arc welding is one process that is not too much important as per our gate point of view, that's why I have taken only in bonus point, that is shielded metal arc welding. What is that? Shielded metal means shielding gas will be used and the metal electrode will be there. We don't have to use any filler material, extra filler material, and the arc welding will happen likewise. And that shielded metal arc welding means the shielding gas will be provided from electrode itself. Okay, that electrode will be like tube like structure. The inner from inward the shielded gas will become. Okay, shielding gas will become, this is electrode. That electrode will have some coating also, and this will be the workpiece and the welding action will happen, and this shielding gas will be used for shielding of that joint or shielding of that arc, so that the contamination and that all defects will not happen there. Okay, the coat electrode and slag formation will be take place, and as we are using shielding gas and slag formation is going to take place, so for post cleaning is required, so it will be the disadvantage of shielded metal arc welding. Okay friends, so this is all about what I have designed, and we will meet again in next lecture with some submerged arc welding and etc. We will look some another welding techniques. Okay, but before that, like, share and subscribe my session, and we will meet again. Thank you friends.